Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to How Do You Not Know This? You might see a difference in this one. It's usually myself and Daliso Shaponda, and we are schooling this comedian here, Dom Hatton-Woods, once we found out, even though he's privately educated, he knows not a lot. In fact, I wouldn't say nothing outside of, what is it, golfing, comedy, and pornography, essentially, right? And so we found
pornography.
I'm assuming, right? And then we found like, what is he? He privately educated, 120,000 on his private education.
100.
Was it 100? Right. Well,
Okay.
with interest.
And university.
Yeah, there you go. And so we thought, well, Daliso and I, let's see if he knows about, and we'll re-educate him on a few different subjects. Daliso is away, he's on the high seas, and so we've got an equally prestigious and wonderful and Manchester-based comedian with us.
Hey, I'm Daliso Shaponda. I'm from Central Africa, and that's what I do. I flip it.
Flip what?
He was doing an old joke. An old joke that Daliso did.
Daliso
right.
He goes, if you got something wrong with it,
Flip it.
if you got a big ass, you're like, I don't need cushions.
You sound like your name is Shaniqua. I don't need no cushions.
I don't need no cushions.
I don't need no cushions.
I've not heard that one.
If there's what's the other one? There's another about a mirror. That's not a fat mirror.
This is the fat mirror. I think this is the fat
I think
mirror.
it's a fat mirror.
So wow, I think my eyes have the same fucking problem.
That's it. Yeah. And
We should do like Daliso's greatest hits.
should we just do? Well, let's do Daliso circa 2005.
Let's not do that.
Let's do that.
I'm having fun.
I know one of
I'm
his
having fun.
first jokes, which he's never done it in the UK, but he used to do this one where when he was out in Canada, where a friend had a depressed dog, and he's like, "What do you want me to do, man?" Like, "Yo, what's up, dog?"
Is that it?
Oh, Daliso, you've come a long way, mate. You've come a long
A
way.
long way.
Where was Daliso when you met him in his career then?
So I met him early on in his time here in the UK, being there about a year or two, and we gigged together in Leeds, and we got on very well. So it was about 2007,
Right.
2006, 2007. What about yourself?
I met Daliso around about the same time, but I met him at Pleasure Bar in Withington, which was run by the One Like Fish.
Oh man!
It was put on by Dave Bishop, and then it was run by the One Like Fish, and it was insane. The gig was insane. I mean, all kinds of things happened, like everything. Like an example, there was one time. This is just like a random example. There was one time, a smackhead in the audience had a shit in this woman's bag.
What during the
In her
show?
bag. But it was beautiful though. Yeah, during the show, because there was this woman, and she was going rah, 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 all that. She rah, rah, just heckling, shouting, being pissed, just being ruining the show for everyone. And you can see this baghead, right? This baghead, I don't know, like what he did. What he did is he nicked her handbag. Right, he took it to the toilet. It's obviously robbed her purse, and then decided he was going to have his shit in the bag and put it back. Right, and put it back. And the thing is, what I like about this story is this guy, there's this bagger going, you know what, I may not be much, I may not amount to a hill of beans, but if there's one thing I can do tonight,
Shit
I
in
can
someone's
save this
bag.
gig, I can ruin that lady's night, and I can add to the mystique of this insane gig, because I'll never get as much, all you can do was,
Brilliant.
Blah 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 blah. Yeah, finish this shit. So what's in this shit, everybody?
I feel like
While someone was on stage, she found out.
well, someone, I don't remember who, but yeah, it all happened,
wow.
man,
Brilliant.
right in front of my eyes. It was beautiful. There's so many things happened at that gig. That was like, I wouldn't say a mild example, but
I remember
definitely
that gig.
a kind of an example.
In Withington, and it was one that just happened as well. Like as in people who just sat around talking, eating, drinking. It almost
and then
it's like, and someone just starts talking like on a microphone. You're like,
are you a
"Oh,
student? You shut the
sure."
fuck up, you.
Nobody knew there was comedy on it. It was unbelievable. But what? There's a whole.
Gig was mental. That's where I first met Daliso. Daliso was headlining.
Really?
That was. He even said that was his first. Ask him. That was his first headline slot.
Really?
In the UK was at Pleasure Bar, and it was fucking insane.
That is amazing. The one like he's from where I'm from, Chorley.
I know.
Yeah, I think he works in a bike shop up there.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He works with bikes and everything.
Nice.
Unbelievable. But I'm just glad to see that
Fish on a
people
bicycle.
like a fish in on a rally. Nice to see that homeless guy. It's good to see that some people they appreciate comedy though. They
Exactly.
appreciate
It's like, do you know what?
art.
I'm gonna give to comedy tonight.
I'm
gonna literally physically contribute to the scene.
And you know what?
Taking his shit.
Had
in
he
this
not
heckler's
done
bag.
a massive dump with that bag, Daliso might have given up on that night.
Daliso wasn't there that night. Daliso
Oh, was he
wasn't there
not?
that night.
Oh, right, okay.
No, that wasn't the same.
That would've
Sorry. To destroy. No, yeah.
Oh, we thought it was like, the butterfly effect, the shit effect.
The shitterfly effect.
So we're all three Manchester-based comedians. Vince, give us a bit of your history then. What got you? Obviously, you're from Manchester, but what got you? What were you doing before comedy? What were you doing? What got you into comedy?
It was my dad that got me into comedy. This is true. It was a weird one. Because I was doing loads. I was like doing a bit of acting, in a band, doing this, doing that. Just kind of just trying to do little bits and bobs here and there. Felt myself as a bit of an MC. What to do this, what to do that. I was kind of just doing all kinds of stuff. And my dad just to see me flailing. He just went. He said to me, "Have you ever tried stand-up comedy?" And I says, "No." He said, "I think you should do it." I says, "Well, I don't want to," because I used to go to Iguana Bar, the Charlton,
Yes.
the Mirth on Monday.
Flip,
Des
yeah,
Sharples
Des
gig, just
Sharples.
round the corner.
Amazing.
I used to go and watch there. I saw good comedians, saw great comedians, and I saw bad comedians. And I saw comedians and it seemed like, because it basically what my impression of comedy was like. If you do well, great. But like if you're a good comedian, great. If you can do it, but if you're not doing well, there's a lot, because that was a harsh room.
You could see good comedians do badly there.
And you can see bad comedians do really badly. And this thing is, I thought I thought I don't have that level. You know what I mean, I'm not even brave. Basically, I'm not thick-skinned enough for that. Like I thought, if I died in front of that many people, I don't know what I would do with myself. So I just said, look, it's not for me. I'm not going to do it. And he went, oh, I think you should do it. Then a couple of weeks later, I see my dad again. He goes, all right, son. And says, all right, he says, have you done stand-up comedy yet? I was like, no. I was like, what? I'm not going to start. And he went, oh, I think you should do it. And that was what he would do. He would just drip feed me until I just gave in. And he did this for about 2 months. Oh, I think you should do it. You think you should give it a go. So I was like, in the end, just to shut him up, I gave it a go. So I did Beat the Frog. I did Beat the Frog.
Wow.
Did Beat the Frog. My first ever gig. Wrote 5 minutes of material. Died on my arse. The reason why I died on my arse, so it was absolute hubris. Because I got there and I'd written this 5 minutes and it was fairly tight for your first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I got there and for some reason, I don't know what happened. I don't know what came over me, but I just thought, I've acted, I've improvised. I thought, that 5 minutes,
Just spritz.
that 5 minutes, that's money in the bank. That's money in the bank. I'm going to bust.
That's too good
I'm
for
gonna
these
bust
people.
for 10 minutes. And if it's not going well, I'll just resort to the not tried or tested. So then that's what I started. It was like, did a minute. And me going, I don't know what I was on about. And it's just bong, bong. I was gone. And I was gone but the thing is, I knew what I'd done. I knew what I'd done wrong. So I thought, okay, I can't give up there.
Yeah.
And I did it again the second time. Did it a second time. And it went well. Beat the Frog, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Johnny Vegas was in the audience.
Wow.
It was lovely. So then I just got the bug, carried on. That's how it started.
You got the sickness, man.
Is the long
That is a
version of that story.
Good. And what year was that then? We're talking 2000?
2004.
2004, so similar
And how long
time.
have you been a full-time comic for now?
I went full time, say probably about 7 or 8 years in. Yeah. I thought it was full time. About 2006. I was not. So yeah,
Just because you don't do anything else.
Yeah, basically. Sliv ball. So I reckon, I don't know, so maybe been a pro stand-up for like about 14 years, something like that, maybe, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was it. You started at the similar time to me, because I started in 2005, and we were of that generation that we heard about how amazing the comedy scene was. Like, you remember, like, there's a lot of comedians that gigged in the 90s.
Yeah.
And they were like, and late 90s and the early 2000s, before, there was an economic crash in 2008, there was all sorts going on, but they were like, do you remember like Simon Blind? He's like, tell you what, I bought... they buy houses.
I bought a Ferrari from Jonglers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
They were all driving around in massive cars, buying houses and everything.
Really? Yeah.
Jonglers, you do sort of double on a Saturday, 250. each gig 500, each Friday, Saturday, sometimes. But then back in those days, 90s, that was loads of money.
Yeah, and that's it. And you do like a few gigs. You could do like 2-3 gigs a night.
Yeah,
you go around doing. And yeah, I mean, it was better times. It's harder now because what's happened is, in terms of gigging, is gig fees haven't gone up in 20 years, whereas the cost of living has
a lot.
A lot. And so basically, that's basically what it is.
Gig fee and cost of and travel has gone up as well.
Just
getting around.
Cost of living.
And there's more comics.
I think that's.
Listen, there's always been too many comics. People say, "Oh, there's too many comedians now." There's always been too many comedians, but like, once you separate the wheat from the chaff, like in terms of like getting to pro level, there's not too many comics. Do you know what I mean? There isn't really. There's just as many as there were. I think. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know. That's kind of
I reckon there's loads. There's loads now.
But there was always loads. There was always loads.
Well, although I don't know, the guys that I speak to from back in the early 2000s, they were like, if you wanted to do a gig, you just could. You were always there was always gigs available, and like I suppose you did a lot more of the Beat the Frog and stuff like that. You could get on easy if you wanted to back in the day. Now there's waiting lists for everything.
That's what I'm saying. There was no money even Beat the Frog. I mean, the idea was to get up to the level where you're doing the Frog weekends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because before that, but. I don't know.
It's interesting because I think the scene as well. You had an apex predator. You had jonglers which ran clubs everywhere, and once that went, everything fractured a bit more. Didn't as in there was not.
I suppose,
there's still loads of comedy going on, but it's all very like you've got someone runs some over here, someone runs over there, and and there's probably loads of gigs for some people and not so many for others.
Well, jonglers. I mean, because I did, I managed to sort of do a few jonglers weekends and clubs and stuff here and there before it kind of went under. And so you did them, and they were hardcore. You know what I mean? Like you properly, like you had to kind of, you got paid sort of well eventually, but then you got paid sort of well for them. But it was you earned your crust, man.
There was one weekend I got paid by jonglers for not turning up. I mean, I think that was money well spent on their behalf, right? But like, I was on what's called standby. They have a thing called standby where they pay you $2.50 a night. They say, well, if someone drops out, you just make sure you're available to go to a gig.
Yeah.
And if nobody drops out, then you still get paid. And I said, get each $2.50 each night. Was it a little check?
Did you have to be at the venue? Or?
No, I was just sat in my house earning money.
Sitting in underpants making $2.50.
I could do this. Standby.
I never got a standby, man.
You could go and do another gig, maybe, or not? Was that not allowed?
That to me, no. I was a good boy on the standby level. I was a good boy. I was like, I am home. You want me? I will put them trainers on and I'll go. That's just. But it was this. By about 8 o'clock, you probably knew, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're like, right, I'm good. So go on. So what advice as a veteran comedian? How long have you been going, Dom?
5 years.
5 years, and so the scene's very different now and all that. But what advice would you give to Dom?
You've seen me do comedy, I think, haven't you?
I have. I've seen. Yeah.
We did a gig when I was very ill. Do you remember that?
Was that the one?
Colin Mempford's gig, and I was like, I can barely speak.
In like, Withenshaw.
Yeah, I just had like been and sick, and I was you're right, and I was like, I'm gonna not talk to anyone because I need to.
Yes.
I think I've only got a few words left.
Yeah. Well,
wow.
Before I went on, I was like, I don't want to lose my voice here. I need to go up there.
Well, the thing is, if you're out and you're doing that, then you learn on the job anyway, don't you? I mean, like the advice, it's only sort of quite basic, really. It's just like keep writing, rewriting, look at your set, look at what's working, look at what isn't, and how quick can you get to the joke? What words are superfluous in your set? What do you need? What don't you need? Is it you? Do you know what I mean? Like, kind of, and from what I saw with your comedies, it kind of as little as I do know you, but I looked, it was like, okay, like he's being him on stage.
Yeah.
So if you're being you on stage, like unless you're doing a character, as long as you're being you on stage and it's working, just keep going, keep honing.
Yeah, I'm pretty me.
Yeah, go with that your unique voice and your unique perspective. Yeah.
So listen, what I hear about this podcast, and I've seen a couple of clips. The idea that I'm getting.
Oh, hang on, wait. Can I just say something before you slip onto my head? So I did your Penwortham on Friday
Yes.
gig, and I've done that a few times this year already. Last time was with Daliso, and at the end, Daliso said, "Me and Dom have got a podcast." I'd hosted Daliso Close, so they'd seen both of us, and he said that, and then some guy came up to me at that the other day when I did it, and he went, "I've listened to your podcast. What do you think of it?" And he goes, "It's a good idea."
This one,
Yeah. He goes, "It's a good premise."
It is a good
I
idea.
seen you on the sofa, and I went, "Oh right, do you like it?" And he goes, "Oh, I'll listen to it every so often." I went, "Right, okay, it's probably better if you just didn't speak to me at all." I think.
Damning you with faint praise. Well, no praise really.
Yeah, like,
It exists.
I was expecting him to like get down and suck my dick. He
That's
went, "No,
it.
it's all
So
right."
we've got one guy in Penwitham at 3 stars.
Who's
And
Vince?
Vince,
Less than that, I think. He goes, "It's available. It's there. It exists." So sorry, mate. Go on.
No. So like the impression that I got is that it's basically basically it's just like Tony and Daliso just picking on you, saying, "Why don't you know things?"
Well, what is interesting?
and then basically then telling you things. Which is, it's to me, it's a fascinating premise. When I saw it, I thought, well, I've met Dom Hattonwood. Yeah, this is interesting. This would be interesting. But so then, so you've talked about what have you talked? What religion?
So we talked about the Second World War. We
Second
talked
World War.
about flipping.
Did you not
Jesus.
know? Did you not know it
Jesus.
existed?
All
You
religion?
didn't. You didn't know the Second World War existed?
I knew it existed. I knew
Okay,
they
okay.
played football. And
That was that. Wow, that was. I think
was
that
that
was
the first one?
Wasn't that World War One?
all right.
First
well,
one- first
same
one,
thing.
well,
isn't it?
Trenches.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I guess.
There
So
was,
you knew there was a football match that the Germans won.
Yeah,
2-1.
yeah.
But
I thought that was interesting. So I
Yeah, but
remembered
it is
that.
interesting. It is
Yeah.
interesting. It's not. It's kind of more like of a side quest in terms of like what the war
wasn't
meant to the world.
Wasn't the
There
big
was,
thing.
there was
Yeah.
a football match. Yeah, there was.
Have I mentioned that I've actually been to Auschwitz?
You have several
you did-
times, to be honest. It's becoming
What? You mentioned it several times, or you've been several times.
I mentioned it several times.
Okay, right. It's
yeah.
not like I
It's-
go every year.
it's like-
I never miss it.
It's like being with that.
Several times.
It's like being with Uncle Albert from Only Fools and Horses when I was in Auschwitz. No, we have. So, but it was things like I didn't know
Okay, so
who were on the Allied side, and didn't
Okay.
know.
And then
Alright, okay.
the other
kind of
week, I
stuff.
didn't know what VE Day was, so we went over that.
VE Day. Yeah.
Oh, and then another guy from the golf club I work at.
Yeah.
I listened to your podcast. He goes, "You're not actually that thick, are you?" And I went, "I think I might."
Well, it's not even thick. It's like you've just appeared on it like an alien. Like you've just like literally come from a
But I
different
think it
planet.
does-
You're like the
with
Alf of comedy.
Yeah, the Alf. It's just like
Who
what-
are you?
So what is this? I hear these things like
What's war?
war. Yeah.
You're like Vision. You're like Vision from the Avengers.
Yeah.
Vision from the Avengers is created by Tony Stark. Basically, maybe don't need to tell you too much because he's created by Tony Stark and he doesn't know anything. And then he discovers the internet and he decides that no, it's not Vision. Sorry, Ultron.
Ultron,
Ultron.
right.
He creates
Yeah.
Ultron. Basically, he creates Ultron. Ultron becomes. Then he goes to the internet for 5 minutes and he sees that humanity is just shit. So he decides he needs to destroy them all. So maybe we don't need to tell you too much.
But I think from an outside,
I just flip and start killing people.
I think from an outside perspective, it does seem like I am being joking.
Yes,
It seems like I'm not
comes
being
across
serious.
like because it's so unbelievable. Like literally, you got to know this.
So what
Yeah,
other
yeah.
things? What other things so far have you ascertained that Dom doesn't know?
I'm still ascertaining if he actually knows anything.
Do you know what
Genuinely
I think?
about
Something that
like
has been good from this is I think mine and your relationships evolved a lot because we'd not knew. I knew Daliso a lot better than I knew you.
there
when we
you go.
started.
So Dom knows that
So all
he's
we've really
that
got
he's,
from this
that he's
is
loved.
friendship with Tony.
Yeah.
He
Reno.
knows that he's loved and he's accepted.
Well, 'cause you've started
but he's
to-
not in the pub quiz team.
You started to take the piss out of me now.
See, I'm really good in the pub quiz
That's the
team.
difference.
I've got like my knowledge. I know a vast array of useless shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's me and my friend Karen are in the pub quiz team, and she is educated and she knows everything. She's knowledgeable, she's smart. I just know a lot of stupid shit I shouldn't. I got no business knowing.
Yeah. You're like, and where's that come from?
Yeah.
Just like where did you pick? You've got a brain that just picks it out.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Whereas I think you're more focused, as in you like golf, you pick up everything, and then there's part of your brain that goes, everything else, I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah.
Vida,
See, no,
who
this
cares
is the-
what that means? I'm sure I've heard the
This
words.
is what I thought as well. Since I'm here replacing Daliso. I
Yeah.
feel like maybe I could be like the cool substitute teacher who comes in.
Nice.
And I'll be like, hey, you know, I'm the other guy, you know, the one who brings comics. Like,
Yeah.
we're not going to do anything today, guys.
So-
Let's rap, guys. Tell me about you. You know, so that's what I'm thinking. Like, why don't you tell us something that you do know? Why don't you tell us something that you do know?
We do try and do that.
Oh,
at the
it's
end.
been done before. Oh, right. Oh,
Sorry,
well, I'm
mate.
pushed to the end of the podcast.
I tell you what, this would be an interesting one. I thought was the fact that we all of us live in Manchester, right? You've been
I love the
here.
way you
your
just
entire-
avoided that. Like, yeah, we'll get to that later.
You're
I've already had to think about that.
You've lived here your whole life,
Yes.
right? Dom, just very quickly, this is one thing. Tell us what you know about.
Where are you from?
Somerset.
Somerset. Okay, that explains a lot. Whereabouts in Somerset?
What does it explain?
Because Somerset is far. And it's not really near anywhere
And
else.
you
Well,
were
it's
just.
also it's quite an isolated existence.
Yeah,
it's nice, man. Like
it does. It
cheddar,
seems like
olive
you've
laces, I don't
appeared
know.
from the middle of a field,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh wow.
Yeah, because I've been to Chris Brooker's from Somerset. I stayed at his parents in Somerset,
And did his gigs in
and
Devon.
done those gigs. Yeah, so I've spent plenty of time.
One
in
of the gigs
Somerset.
is on like a beach. It's beautiful, isn't
It
it?
was gorgeous. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah,
Get a pizza.
yeah. I love that.
Somerset. Which town's that in Somerset?
That one's in Devon.
Devon. Oh, that's in Devon. Oh, that's right. All right. So, what do you know now? You now live in Manchester. You'll have picked up that this is.
Sorry to
there's
interrupt.
a lot-
Whereabouts in Somerset are you from?
Yeovil.
Yeovil. I've been to Yeovil.
No way.
Okay, listen, I've gigged in Yeovil. And yeah, okay. It's easy to not know things if you're in Yeovil,
Yeah,
man. Because it's just like you're just hemmed in by the sea. There's not much, you know what I mean? It's far from everywhere.
Well, actually, what is weird is once I was trying to write jokes about Yeovil, so I googled Yeovil, and you know when you Google and it comes up with like the common searches.
Yeah.
One of them common searches was how many Muslims live in Yeovil. Who's searching that?
That's very specific.
People
for
from
Yeovil.
Yeovil, people in
Yeah.
Yeovil,
They want
yeah.
to move to Yeovil. Yeah,
People in Yeovil afraid of fresh DNA. That's what,
strange.
So you lived in Manchester.
how many times did you Google that?
A lot of
question?
years. Yeah. Copy paste.
Until I got some answers.
You live in Manchester like this. What do you know about Manchester? Why is it here? What's its
Why is it here?
Yeah, what's its history? Give us anything about you know about Manchester. You've lived here. It's a big
3 or 4
city.
years. No,
So, and you've had a look around.
I've been around.
Tell us something that you know about Manchester.
Like
Something-
bees, don't they?
You
Like
like
what?
bees? Yeah. So
Why?
what's
Why? I
is
actually
the,
don't know.
why is
Why?
the bee on all the on all
Why?
the posts and everything? What's the symbol of the bee mean?
I don't know.
So
What do you
it'll be-
think it might mean?
I don't fucking know.
Okay, what kind of bees have you got? What kind of bees are there?
I didn't know there was more than one kind of bee.
Yeah, there's like even within the hive.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so there's the queen bee.
You got the queen
Right.
bee.
You got the
Yeah,
queen bee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got like the drones and stuff, and you've also got like the mains of the vast majority of the bees. It's a very popular expression that you probably don't know.
The two
Worker bees.
Worker bees.
Yeah,
Hear
I've
that?
heard that.
Worker bees. Okay, worker bees. And do you know what? I now I think about it, I'm not sure that I like the fact that the bee, because basically the idea is it's to represent the workers of Manchester and the fact that they'll just go and do the job and do the job and it's nothing to do with the fact that we all think it's buzzy and it's nothing to do with that. It's just, but it's like, and that's the idea. It's like, oh, they're all so good and they just get on with the job because they're good in the northern and they just get on
Yeah.
with the job like they used to down Mills when it was proper. And you know, and I kind of, in a way, that kind of annoys me a little bit.
It's-
That,
yeah.
like, the worker bees. Like, there's more to Manchester
There's more than-
than just like being prepared to go to work.
Yeah, you basically occupy an office or a mill and then you die.
Yeah, then you die in your little point in the hive, and you go home. Yeah, and you watch Netflix. And
Yeah,
you die.
but it's a nice.
Are you like proud to be from Manchester, do you reckon?
Yeah, I do, man. I've got a certain amount of civic pride. Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah.
I say I'm more proud to say I'm from Manchester than I am to say I'm from England.
Right.
You know, I feel more civic
This
pride.
is your-
I
yeah.
feel more about Manchester than I did, because it's like, you know, if you go, the impression abroad of English people is, let's be honest, it's factually accurate, because most English people go abroad and they act horribly, you know, and but whereas like Manchester, it's recognised. It's more of it's a European city. It's a famous city. Everybody knows Manchester, like, and it's mainly football. Which to do with football and music.
Yeah.
You know, those are the two reasons why Manchester's well known, and those are two good reasons for a city to be known.
Justin Morris has got a nice story, right? So this is because you know Manchester. It's the first city to ever industrialise. Is that something you know about?
No.
Have you ever heard of the Industrial Revolution?
I don't know what industrialise means.
I
can see why this podcast is fun. Just make something up. Make something up.
I just made the word up.
It's a form of washing powder.
So industrial. You heard of the Industrial Revolution, though, I presume.
I've heard the word industrial before.
Okay, there you go. That's the start.
So the industrial
industry. Do you know what industry is?
Yeah, industry is like the comedy industry, for example.
Yeah, what is the comedy industry?
What's the word?
The comedians and everyone that works.
But
comedy.
I mean, come on. But I mean, like, what is an industry? Okay, because you could have a music industry. You got a comedy
industry, a textile industry. What does industry mean?
Everyone that works within the industry, no.
He's fucking Bob on there.
Look at that. You smashed that.
Hey, no flies on you.
It's a sector.
No D's on you.
I just kind of said the word again.
Industrial.
Right.
So, of that industry.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was known as like, so you had the Industrial Revolution, like the 1800s, all that. It was the first ever city to have its own passenger railway line. Do you know that? So between here and Liverpool, that was the first sort of passenger line in the UK.
Right.
First city to ever industrialise. Anyway, so it was known as Cottonopolis because there was loads of cotton factories and warehouses. So Justin Moore had a lovely story where he went out to Canada and like textile, like cottons and stuff like that, and blankets in the department stores is known as Manchester. So it came over the tannoy. There was a thing that said, "Can someone from Manchester please come to the customer service?" And he was like, "I am here." So it was the idea that they were asking for someone from the Manchester department, which was the textile department. I mean, you had to be there, to be honest, John. It was a lot of.
He probably does it better than you. I would have thought.
It was just a story that you got, but there you go. So that's this. You got the Industrial Revolution. That started here. First train.
First computer.
First computer. We have done.
And touring, yeah.
We did. You freaking
What?
remember the name of that? This
Knowledge
guy's
boy.
I'm so proud.
I watched the film, didn't I?
He's proud. He's proud.
That's
Which
beautiful.
film? Which film? Oh, I haven't seen that.
You should. Good.
Peterloo.
Imitation Game.
Oh, I thought it was Peterloo.
No, that was
Well, that's the Peterloo massacre.
the Peterloo massacre that happened in town. Like
Happened in town the other week.
In town the other day. It's when Glasgow were
Just
playing.
outside, just by the locks.
St. Peter's Square. We're learning stuff today.
I've been to St. Peter's Square.
So that was the place where we had the Peterloo massacre, where a load of the unions came together to basically protest, and the city council
Killed.
They sent in the what were they called, the
black and
guards,
tans, the bobbers, well, whatever they were called.
and they came in, and they basically killed a load of the protesters. They slaughtered people, and that's one of the reasons. Apparently, right? If you look at the city centre of Manchester compared to other city centres, there's not many open spaces. Like most cities have like a park. And stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas Manchester's very, very dense. There's no sort of open space. Yeah, I mean, you look at like Piccadilly Gardens, it's tiny, really, for the size of the city. And that's because there was a sort of, in urban planning, they went, let's not have any open spaces because that was a disaster. So we don't want people to congregate in the centre.
Yeah, no convening in town. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for them.
It's like if you go to London, there's parks everywhere, isn't
Parks everywhere. You see the size of them, massive, aren't they? Hyde Park and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So it goes back further than the Industrial Revolution. Do you know, like, it started as a Roman town? You know about that? Do you know what do you know the Roman Empire?
I've heard of that, yeah.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Absolutely fantastic.
Don't
What do you know about the Roman Empire?
Don't really know what it is, but I've heard
What
of
do you
it.
know about, well...
Where did it? Yeah, where did it start? Where did it go from?
No idea.
Have a guess where the Roman Empire began.
I don't know, 1870.
No,
No, the place. Where would it begin?
Italy, probably.
Where in Italy?
Okay.
Rome.
There you go.
You absolutely smashed that. Absolutely smashed that. So it did, and so it was in 1879, right? There's a guy called Agricola.
Oh, it's not that. I said 1870 something.
18. Yeah, that was. that would have been a bit awkward because it could have got in way of the Industrial Revolution and all that. All these Romans turning up. But anyway, AD 79, right? Not 1879. But
right.
but if you go into the centre, have you seen Castlefield? Have you ever seen Castlefield?
I've been there,
Yeah, that's where Manchester began, right?
Is it?
That was the Roman fort was there, and it was Mamucian, it was called, and it's a Roman fort, one breast hill. So there's a fort on top of one hill.
One tit hill.
One tit hill. And that was where that was Manchester started.
Yeah, Mancunia. You've heard of Mancunians?
Yeah. It's just Manchester
that's
people.
Mancunia. Well, yeah. I mean, that's as much as I can add to that because I really don't know that much about that. But yeah, Mancunia. That's
right.
the Latin.
So we feel like we've given the
was
people
interesting.
there. That was interesting.
Yeah,
you'll forget it, but there we go. Right. So come on then. Right. So let's get on to the bit right where you tell Vince here something something that you can share with him.
I thought we were going to talk about crime.
Do you want? We can talk about crime if you want
I want to talk about crime.
Okay.
That's why he's
He wants
here.
to know all about
Why do
crime.
you want to talk to me about
He's brought you in because he believes you're a gang lord.
No, I remember the first episode we did. I think it was the first one that we put out. Was I mentioned Top Boy,
Top Boy, okay.
and apparently you've got some knowledge of the Manchester crime scene.
Okay, so the thing is,
Can we leave the cameras running?
The thing is, so I went to a school
Yeah.
in Moss Side. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
It was called Burley High School, and the thing is, it was the roughest school in Manchester.
Wow.
Okay, I'd say putting it high up there as like roughest in world because it was wild. I mean, it was wild. And I came to that school. When I came to that school, I'd lived in North Manchester early doors with my mum up until I was 10 in North Manchester, and I had very kind of white ways. Very kind of white ways, and like obviously, not obviously, look at my legs, but I'm from a black family. I mean, I'm light skinned, mixed race, but I'm from a black family. But I lived kind of with my mum, who was white, up in Blakely, which was very white. Then I just got moved into. I moved to Moss Side with my dad when I was like 10, and then 1 year in primary school, then bang, Burley High School, and it was wild, and it was very.
When
Moss
you say
Side,
wild, we're talking like fights all the time.
all the time,
like
fights, fires, teachers getting punched, stabbed. It was honestly like walking down any corridor was like you're playing with your life. It was insane. It was absolutely
crazy.
like there was no more. I don't know. It was like if you can imagine like just the wildest school in Moss Side.
Wow.
Being the wildest school in Manchester,
yeah.
just being one of the, and it was so rough that they shut it down.
Right.
Basically, like they shut it down when I left.
And this is we're talking late 80s going into mid 90s.
84 to 89.
Right.
84 to 89.
Wow, man.
And it was absolutely mental. But what happened was, so then it was specifically my year. This kind of what happened was basically all of us, so we just kind of became this weird sort of band of brothers because the school was closing. So they decided like Manchester City Council had to get rid of our school. They were like, I'll get that one. But then what they did is just like all the old school, because we had like first year to 50, which is like year 7 to 11. Is that what it is now?
In New
So
Money.
basically,
Yeah.
so all the years 7 to 10s, all the first to 4th years, they all got dispersed into different schools. So like Charlton High or Oakwood at the time, Thomas Aquinas, or they all kind of got moved to these different schools. Wow. But then there was just us. And so what there was just us, just like our year, just cutting around a school.
So you had the whole
we had the whole school to
yourself?
ourselves. And
Wow.
bear in mind as well, it was
amazing.
it was like in terms of like there was only about 30 of us that actually went to school. So it was like 30 of us rattling
how
around,
many?
rattling
Wow.
around an empty school. It was brilliant. It was. I had a master key. I went everywhere.
You could get into all the different rooms and just be like,
Oh mate, listen,
part pupil, part janitor.
I stole so many. I used to rob clarinets. We did everything. We robbed anything we could find. And we sold it.
I saw your eBay account. There's a few clarinets on there.
Still, yeah.
Vintage.
Gathering dust. But this is the thing is like so that's what happened. But then
Wow.
but what happened then was like so we were this kind of this band of brothers. Odd, like we all kind of got on by that time. Everyone was getting on great and this and that. But then when school finished, they all went. A lot of them went and they forged either Gooch or Doddington. Like the two main gangs that you
Those
hear
were
about.
gangs back
The
in
two
the day,
Manchester,
yeah,
the
yeah.
two Moss Side gangs, it's Gooch and it was Gooch and Pepperhill. It was called. They became Doddington.
Right.
But basically, like because Pepperhill was the pub, but then the pub got shut down, so it became Doddington. So there was Gooch and Doddington, and I like half my mates was Gooch, and then half of them was Doddington, and then they just started killing each other.
No way. So
They
mates that
just-
you knew.
They became like a lot of them just became like the old heads of Gooch and Doddington. Not all of them by any
Yeah.
stretch of the imagination, but a lot. You know, and a lot of them are dead. A lot of them are dead in prison, and it was very upsetting at first. But like, because I was just remember going like, I don't have it in me to be a gangster. I mean, if you did, I
Mate.
probably would have done it, but it wasn't me.
No,
I mean,
man.
I'm not built for that.
No,
man.
man.
I'm
Did you
not-
ever give it a go?
a little bit, but not even being a gangster because I didn't really like beating people up. You know what I mean? I only sort of did it if I had to, when I had to, and then I just kind of like just run away and hide. I hated it. But I mean, we used to do some silly shit. We used to do like, I don't know. They had like, let's look at you both looking at me like, go on, tell it.
Well, not interrupting you.
You want to hear the story that Daliso told me, don't you? Daliso told you about me. That's
Go on,
what you
tell
wanna
me
hear.
about.
You wanna
Remember
hear-
the story with the. Yeah, go on.
You want to
Tell
hear
us
what
the story.
Daliso Loose Lips Shapanda told him that I told him? There was this one time. So, me and a friend of mine, we had a friend of mine. We managed to get hold of a replica gun,
Yeah.
Wow.
but it was heavy as well. It was heavy and it fired.
How old were you at this
It
point?
was 16.
Right. Okay.
And we got hold of this replica gun. And basically, my mate, he was the brains behind this outfit. He came up with this idea because we lived in like sort of Moss Side and then Wally Range as well. But Wally Range was just known for like sex workers. It was full of like kind of like a prostitutes in old money, like like basically it was, but it was on the streets. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of that's so we kind of and we knew that. And but my mate, I found out. He says, I know where they take them. He says, I know where the pros take the punters, like to kind of to get for the service. And he told me, and it was just up the road actually, kind of off Seymour Grove. It was like I think it's some flats now, but it was like an old hospital.
Right.
It was like a massive car park. See, big spaces don't allow it. Anything will go on. But it was this massive car park. So then he had this idea. He said, I know that's where they take the Johns or the punters. That's where
Yeah.
they take the Johns. So he says, right, what we're going
Whoa,
to do.
the Johns.
Yeah?
The punters.
The Johns, the punters.
Right, okay.
Clients.
The clients, yeah.
In old money.
Yeah. So what he did is basically what they would do is they would turn up. Basically, they'd turn up. So they pick them up in the car, and then they come to this car park, and we'd be waiting in the bushes for balaclavas. And basically, we give them like 5 minutes to get started in the car park, and
That
then
was very good of you.
well, I mean, you want to catch them literally with the pants down. That's where you want to catch them. Do you know what I mean? And so then we'd come out with balaclavas, just terrify the poor bastards, and just like tapping them and come on, give us your money.
Really?
No, but we had, but here's the thing: we were kind of Robin Hood in our way because we had to set like first of all, we knew that they get paid first. Girls always got paid first,
Right.
So it was like you out. So we get the, like you out, so they make sure she's out the car.
Yeah.
And then we just rob them.
So the girl gets to keep her money.
Yeah.
She could,
Yeah.
and didn't actually have to fulfil the contract essentially
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you'd have turned up.
So there's a guy with no money and blue balls driving around furious. So we
How
did
was
that.
your
But
day,
then, here's
love?
the thing as well. But you know what?
Wow.
Like just because.
That's quite smart
Well,
because
it wasn't smart
no,
at all.
but what I'm saying is they can't really. What are they going to do? Tell the police?
No, exactly.
That they
Exactly.
were having
Well,
a
this is the thing.
prostitute and then they were robbed.
Well, this is exactly But like I wouldn't say it was a victimless crime. But so then, but we also had like a set of ethics as well. Like for example, if it was like, say if it came up and it was like a Jaguar or like a Merc or something, they're getting robbed.
100%.
But if they turned up and it was like an old Fiesta or something, and it's like for some
The
reason
guy's struggling.
I'd done this. In my mind, I'm like, his wife could be in hospital, and and she might be like, and this might just be like his only pleasure in the week, and we don't want to rob that poor man of his pleasure, and so we're not going to do that. So if we would literally, if it was below a certain level of car, we'd just leave.
We'd
him
just
alone.
leave.
God bless. God bless you.
Well, this is like a public service announcement then, if for any.
But then obviously kind of if they there was like Jaguars and this and that, then they
Yeah.
get them just tap on the window.
No way.
Money, bada. That.
Did
Money,
anyone ever be like, no, fuck you?
Well, this one time, the last time we did it, so we did it 3 or 4 times,
Really?
and we made.
How much were you making per?
So, I don't know, some money. I don't know, like a couple of hundred, whatever they had in the wallet. You know what I mean, or the watch or this and that. Just taking. But then this one time we did it. The last time we did it because we were lucky as well. Because here's the thing: it's like we were doing it like, this is our. I mean, this is like our little.
Could make a career
this is our
out
little
of
cash
this.
point.
Yeah.
Now I'm not reason. Obviously, at some point the pimps would have been circling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? 'Cause the
It's
pimps,
really
the pimps have found-
dangerous,
yeah,
man.
I know. But then, luckily, the last time we did it was the last time we did it because seen a car come in, and it was a big car, and we were like, oh yeah. And he had 2 women in with him.
Whoa.
We were like, yes, mate, we're going to get paid.
Let's get.
We're going to get paid. We're going to go. And it was like a big car, 2 girls in there. And we were like, right, okay. And my mate, who was a bit mad, he'd brought a shattering stone, which I don't know, well, it's basically a stone that shatters
shatters
windscreens.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, so he had that in his hand. And so we go out. So we went out and so we waited, give him a few minutes to get started. And then he went out, and the first thing he did this time was he went out, threw the thing, shattered, and then he slashed all 4 tyres.
What?
All 4 tyres. I was like, this is getting too low.
This is out of
So then I'm like trying to stop and doing it, and the women and the guys going, drive. So the guy just started driving, and it's just like, like
And all
with
the-
4
yeah,
flat
4
tyres,
flat tyres,
4
no
flat
way.
tyres. That man just drove his ass out of the thing past us. We had to move out to jump out the way. Now he was because like he was got nothing, like the replica got nothing was stopping him. He was off as not very fast as he could go.
Fucked up his car as well.
Probably, but you know what he lived to tell a tale. But so
Wow.
they drove off. We were just like going like, yeah, we shouldn't do this anymore.
Yeah, this is.
We shouldn't do this anymore. And I remember because also then we kind of thought, you know what, let's just go and get some chicken. So we drove. Then as we were driving past, because he had a car, we drove past the 2 women, and they were just walking there like that.
Noise.
Exactly like that. And we saw the guy actually. You saw the guy. He was like obviously stood outside. He was on like Seymour Grove, just sitting outside his car. And we actually pulled up and like, yeah, mate, what happened there? And he goes, hey lads, you'll never guess what. He's like, what?
No way.
He said, so it was me and my mate who was Polish, right? He says, you never guess what? He said, I was at the traffic lights just there. I says, and these 2 black guys jumped out from nowhere, slashed me tyres, and so I just drove. And I said, we're like, oh no, you're not safe for you. You're not safe.
Sounds terrible.
And we were like, you thought we were black. But yeah, I remember, but I did say for fun, I was like, oh, which traffic lights are those, mate? Because it wasn't any for miles.
Yeah.
I was like, which ones? He goes, oh, I was like,
But. So
That's mental.
So you
so that
would-
was like the main extent of main extent of my crime. And we
That's
decided not
that's
to do
quite big crime, I would say.
it. We'd have gone away for a long time if we'd have got caught.
Yeah. And the pimps would have fucked you up, right?
Yeah, exactly. More importantly, and none of this happened, by the way. It's just this.
What do you
is
think,
just-
pimps?
This is my comedy character.
Well, there's also a bit of history there for you, which is, have you heard of the Moss Side riots? Moss Side was famous for riots
I've
back
been
in-
more side though. It's all right
Yeah.
now, isn't it?
Were you there during those years? The Moss
I
Side
wasn't.
riots?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't there for the Moss Side riots. But the riots and the gang thing are completely.
Yeah.
Because the riots were like necessary, because there was poverty, there was racism, and there was police brutality like you wouldn't believe. It was wild. Like the police department was like they were a gang unto themselves.
Yeah.
They were the worst. I mean, they would do anything and anyone. And it actually did. There was enough. They'd had enough. Like I mean,
So
they
it was like,
genuinely had enough. No, the gangs was something completely.
And that was-
different.
that was
the
early
gangs was
80s,
just like
yeah.
people. You know what I mean? That wasn't like about us stepping up and owning what's ours. It was just like we're going to make as much money as we
was-
can, and we're going to kill each other. Basically,
Yeah.
it's when things went from knives to guns.
It was a turf war.
Yeah,
Incredible.
it became, and like when then people just suddenly got armed, and
So what? And obviously there's not that gang warfare nowadays. What was it that kind of helped end?
it's not that gang warfare. But
I get you, but like like the those main gangs and all that. That's and them running. Back in the day when they, you think about the hacienda and all that kind of stuff, where they were making money from
Yeah.
running the clubs and stuff like that. It's not as prevalent now. That
No, it is.
is it?
Yeah, very much so. It's just kind of, it's just a
right.
bit,
It's just
a bit smarter. Like, it's never going to go away.
Really?
I mean,
Right.
like, that's never going to go away. And it was Salford actually. It was Salford that ran the Hacienda door.
Yeah.
It was Salford that did that. But I mean, look, but everybody was in there. Everyone was in there,
Right.
peddling the wares.
Crikey.
So there's a scene in Top Boy
Go on.
where there's a
You've
gang.
got the food fam. You've got a food fam.
You've probably seen it in the where Jamie's gang is coming at Sully and Deshane's gang. And anyway,
Go on.
Jamie, the other gang, is trying to find where Sully and Deshane are at, the guys that run this gang.
Right.
And then there's an inside man that leaks where they are. They're in a cafe, where they used to go, the coffee
Yeah.
place. And then Jamie's gang come in this coffee place with guns in that. And there's obviously normal people in there. Sully and Deshane aren't actually in there. Would that happen? Would a coffee shop get...
Yeah, all those kind listen, that's always happened, man. That's kind of
People
happened
just
to-
go in there with gun, and there's normal people there too, right?
Listen, absolutely. Like that kind of that's all that horrible stuff. All that, it's kind of because the thing is, Moss Side is brilliant. Moss Side is brilliant. It's a proper.
I used to live in Moss Side. I
It's
lived
a
in
proper
Raby Street for years.
until the white people got there. Moss Side was brilliant. No, listen. Moss Side is a great.
Hummus, anyone?
It's a great community. It always has been. It's a great working class, like kind of mixed community. Like you've got everybody there, man, and that's what I love.
It was a melting pot and
That's
loads
what
of
I love
great
about Moss Side,
eateries.
and there's
Yeah.
people just getting on with their lives, and just carrying on with the things and stuff. But yeah, and like. I don't want to shit on gangsters or anything like that because it's not a smart thing to do. But but it's just kind of like it's known for that. Moss Side is known for Gunchester and all these headlines that were sort of made, and there's always people that are going to want to make money and they want to sort of they're going to like get to the top of their chain, kill each other and this and that. And the thing is, on a TV show, it's great. I love Top Boy. I love Narcos. I love Breaking Bad. I love The Sopranos.
I'm with you.
I love all them shows. I love all that. Do you know what I mean? It's great. It's good fun. I love Italian gangster films. Love all that. I love The Godfather. All Scarface. All these things.
But you
I love them. But the thing is,
experienced and seen
like,
it up close.
that's like, it's not glamorous. It's horrible. It's horrible, and it's like, people die, and it's just not, you know what I mean? And kind of people die, or kind of all like, or they live in fear, or when they can't go out of the houses and all this and that. It's kind of and it's kind of and let's say, and kids that haven't kind of got much, they look and they see these people who have got a lot. Yeah, they look at them and like it's why I find there's this label of clothing that I would never wear in my life, and it's called hood rich.
All right.
And I feel like it's such a... It's almost like, I don't want to get all like conspiracy thing, but I feel like it's like an idea, like that's your level, that's you. You can be hood rich.
Yeah.
You can be
In
hood
terms of
rich. You can have a
aspiration.
few grand and live live on an estate. That's you. That's as far as you go. You can be hood rich, and you can boast about being hood rich. I'm hood rich. You're not hood rich. If you're hood rich, go and get a nice house somewhere else. You know what I mean? Go and get a house where I don't like.
There was one of the chapters there's a book called Freakonomics, which talks about the interesting sort of perspectives on these economists, and he talked about the sort of drug gang economy, and he said it plays into aspiration of disaffected youth, as in because it's got the outward signs of of success. You might have the guys at the top driving around in amazing cars with all the kind of bling of whatever those sort of tokens of success, whether it be like great clothes or gold watches or whatever and Rolexes. But they're saying it was basically they did an actual study of the economics of it in gangs in America, particularly in New York. They were saying it was like in terms of the amount of hours you put in. The payback
minimum wage
was less than minimum wage, and also you can get put in jail for it as well. So because it's a total pyramid system. It's like you've only got one person at the top, and who wants to stay at the top and won't go until he's knocked off, and then that's the next person up and all the rest of it. But basically, those people at the bottom, it hoovers up loads of people with aspiration to get rich, and it's the one thing that will not get you rich.
It appeals to like, I mean, I guess it appeals to like the hunter-gatherer sort of idea.
Like
isn't it? Like, no, the
comedy,
one, like
you?
you, I want to take everything. I want to be the one that's got everything, and you know what I mean. I want to be the magnanimous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can do this, and by the way, maybe I give a bit to charity or open up a thing in the hood, all that bollocks. But it's just kind of, it's I don't know, like what am I trying to say here? It's like, okay, for example, like say if you're like if you are the top boy, you can't even go in your cafe. You can't even go in your local cafe.
You can't relax a bit.
Can't relax anywhere. What life is that?
Yeah.
What kind of a stressful?
Is it worth it?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for being hood rich.
I'd hate that. Man. I wouldn't take to that well. Mate. I'd go under. I'd kill people.
Me too.
I wouldn't.
You know what?
You would also be a terrible guy.
Because I love cafes.
Do you know what I mean?
That'd be half of my life would be gone.
Man. You can't even go in spoons for a cheap brekkie. You know what I mean? Like pop. That means spoons is getting shut up. Mate. And you're responsible for spoons getting shut. I mean, look, I mean, look. Like fuck Tim Martin and all that, but I don't know what I mean. But I'm not bothered about that. But like, you know, there's some good people.
Yeah,
there's some good people who
cafes around
who drink alcohol while you're eating your breakfast. When spoons on the morning.
We meet each other. We see each other.
Yeah, I was about to say. Apparently, you've been spotted quite a lot in the
It's my office, man. It's my office.
You go there a lot.
Right.
Yeah, man. Look, you get coffee unlimited all day for $1.25.
Yeah.
Bang.
And literally, why not?
And you get a breakfast.
Lavazza.
You get a breakfast. Yeah, you get your coffee. You get unlimited coffee. What?
Why not just sit there?
As long as you don't relinquish your cup, you're
Do
golden.
you go
mate.
together or?
No, I just see each other in there.
We see each other.
One day we should go together. There you go. Listen, my round. I'm
See you
feeling
tomorrow.
flush,
There
man.
you go. Magnanimous.
Listen, we've gone on now for about an hour, so let's wrap this up. You've learned a lot though on this one, haven't you?
It's been fun.
The word industrial.
What have you learned? What have you learned?
I enjoyed that story a lot.
It's not learning.
It has been like the supply teacher has just told us about just done improv for the whole
let
lesson. Even though it's meant to be maths.
about the time.
You learned a bit about the history of Manchester though, didn't you?
I did.
What did you learn?
Some stuff.
Excellent.
I don't want to recite it.
That's really inspirational.
Because it's already forgotten.
Well, listen, Vince, thank you, mate, for
Thanks
standing
for
in
doing
for
that, man.
Daliso. You were
It's a pleasure, man.
You were brilliant.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.